I gotta figure out how to get down this. Whew. Not a bad little sketch. So it's January 31, end of the month. Good morning. It's been an interesting month. So it's January 1, and truth be told, I've really been struggling making artwork. Have sort of felt like I've been in a funk, and it's been really easy for me to get out of the habit of doing it, and kind of just, I think it's one of those things, like you get out of the habit and then weirdly you don't feel like you want to do it anymore, so then you don't do it, and then it can just perhaps snowball. But I was just laying in bed this morning and I thought, like, what if you did it every day this year? And so I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if I'll keep up with it for the whole year. I feel like I actually just need more time to figure out why I even want to do this. But it's 9 o'clock at night. I'm just going to do something easy. I'm going to do a thumbnail where basically I'm still working on thumbnailing out this painting idea of Odysseus from Homer's Odyssey being reunited with his father. Today I'm going out to do plein air painting, and it's gorgeous weather. I think we're going to have a high of 40. Only the second time that I've done plein air this month. I'm here in the woods, and I kind of like this tree that fell over the path here and the pieces of snow over the top. So that's what I'm going to paint. And I've got my setup here. This is an illustration board. It's not treated with anything, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to be using acrylic. So it should be just fine. Let's go. One thing that I've been thinking about, I heard somebody say, you know, if you want to set a goal for how do I do something, sometimes it can actually be useful to think about what if the goal was the opposite? So for me, you know, my goal is how can I do art every single day? How can I paint more? How can I get better at my art? How can I build better art habits? But let's reframe that. What if I said, how can I make sure that I don't paint every day? How can I make sure that I don't do art every day? How can I make sure that I paint less? What would I have to do? And because this is kind of an interesting thought experiment. Okay, so if I wanted to paint less and I wanted to make sure that I didn't do art every day, I would need to probably make sure that my art materials were not ready to go, that everything was sort of dispersed around my house, and my palette's not cleaned up, my brushes aren't cleaned, my paper, I can't find my sketchbook, it's somewhere else. And guys, that's literally what I did today. I mean, I got up with the mindset, last night I went to bed thinking I gotta go paint, and then today I literally was like, am I gonna paint oil paint or am I gonna paint gouache? Oh shoot, my palette's not clean. Where's my paper? Do I have paper ready to go? Where's my sketchbook? I think I want to do my sketchbook. Oh, are my brushes clean? Oh, they're not clean. You know, and so I actually spent probably like an hour and a half trying to decide if I wanted to do oil paint or not, trying to decide, trying to clean my palette, trying to get everything ready. Oh, I needed to, even because I'm going to film it, I need to charge my batteries. I need to clear my SD card. All of those little like semantic details, I wasn't ready to go. And so in a way, yeah, it's good that I cleaned my palette. It's good that I got all of that stuff, but it's also kind of felt like a waste of time to just spend the whole morning more or less on that stuff instead of going out and painting for that time. And so that's kind of a lesson learned for me. I definitely want to have, I think I want to clean all my stuff and have it like ready to go in the bag so that I can, the next time there's nice weather, the next time I'm feeling like I want to paint, I literally can just grab my bag, hop in the car and go and not waste any time, you know, trying to find my sketchbook or trying to do all of this stuff, because it's a big waste of time. I like to use the side of the brush and get kind of these messy shapes. It helps kind of abstract things out a little bit. And then let's do this field, yellow ochre and a lot of white. I feel like the month for me was kind of a mixture of successful times and unsuccessful times. I did go out and plein air paint once before, and it was really awesome. I had like an idea in mind. I thought about where I wanted to go, and I really enjoyed it. And then I even kind of planned like, okay, I'm gonna keep refining this painting in the studio. And so I set it up. I had my reference photo ready to go, and I had just things set up really nicely so that it was easy for me, kind of the contrary to what I've been saying, to, you know, paint just for a little bit. Like if I had 15 minutes, 30 minutes at the end of the day, or just some block of time that I had that I was convenient, there were several times where I would just hop on and start painting, and I had everything ready to go. And so I think like when I actually made that happen, it was very successful and it was fun, and I didn't have to worry about what I was going to do. And it kind of makes me want to do more studio painting, even though I enjoy plein air so much more. I think like there's a benefit to having like a situation set up in your house, even if it is like a sketchbook situation, of just being able to go. And in fact, that is, I think, in a way, I kind of look at it as like a little baby step that, you know, my mentality is not so much, oh, I want to draw, I want to sketch, I want to do pencil sketches, but that's mostly what I did this month. But a lot of times, again, one of the things, if I wanted to make sure that I didn't do art, if I wanted to make sure that I really struggled with the habit, I wouldn't schedule it. I would just kind of do it whenever I felt like it. And I think like that's really what I'm fighting against right now this month, and probably going into the next month, that it's really easy for me not to have this mentality of, oh, I'm going to get it done, I'm scheduling it, but rather I just, I'm kind of like, oh, I'll do it later, and then it's like, I'm like exhausted, it's at the end of the day, I'm ready to go to bed, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't do any art today, what do I do? And so, you know, I have a get out of jail free card in my sketchbook. I have a sketchbook on my couch with a pencil, and sometimes I'll sketch in pen, and that's mostly what I did this month, just to keep my art alive. Sometimes I was doing thumbnails on my Odysseus, Homer's Odyssey narrative painting that I'm trying to illustrate. If you're interested in that, I talk more about that. I'm kind of following James Gurney's imaginative realism technique to create like a narrative oil painting that I really want to do. I want to have models, I'm going to do maquettes, and I'm trying to illustrate almost like in a classical painting style how they would have done this scene from Homer's Odyssey. So I was working on some thumbnails for that, which was good. But sometimes I would just sketch my hand, sketch my foot, sketch my dog. Sometimes I used photo references. But, you know, a lot of times I was really just sketching for a short amount of time. So you're kind of getting those miles in with your hands. You're getting hand-eye coordination, you're building your skills, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's like inspiring or fun. You know, it's not my main goal. It sort of serves to keep the habit alive, and it serves to maybe actually motivate me to be a little bit dissatisfied, I think, to be like, no, I want something with paint. I want to go out and actually do a scene and things like that. So I think that sometimes not quite hitting your goal, or like not doing the 10 out of 10 thing, actually will help you do better, because here I am now, right? So I was thinking about that. I kind of really like that. And it makes me think maybe I need to lower the barrier of entry to doing art, because it was something that I was like, I have to do this, and I suspect that I'm going to feel like that a lot if I do stick with this for a whole year. But the fact that like I could just grab my sketchbook, the fact that it was out of my imagination, you know, made it very immediate, and I knew what I was doing, and I just picked up a pencil and I started working, and I worked for 10 minutes, and then that was it. And it kind of like, it got my wheels turning, it got my creative thinking flowing. I don't feel like I need to do more, but I also feel weirdly energized. And I think like that's kind of the point. Like there's almost like a negative energy and an entropy to not doing art frequently. The less frequently I do art, the less art I do, and the less I want to do it. We'll see like if this continues, but I feel weirdly encouraged. And it makes me think like, well, why can't I do that with paintings in the studio? Why can't I get outside? And maybe I need to like sit down and think about how I could change some of those pain points for plein air painting, for sketching, for painting in the studio. How can I make that as easy as picking up the pencil and just drawing? Like maybe I need, for my studio paintings, like maybe I need to print out my reference photo and have that ready to go. And like maybe I need my paint out on the palette and my brushes cleaned, like ready to go. That could help. And I'm not sure exactly how to make it easier for plein air painting. I'll have to think about that. I came out to this park earlier this weekend, this last weekend, and hiked around a bit. And there was so much more snow now there is now. But I think I'd still like to try and find some kind of scene that maybe has shadow and light, that has some snow. We'll see what we can find. All right, I'm thinking about painting this scene here. I love that we kind of have this pathway that walks up through here. I love these blue shadows, and then that there's kind of like an arrival point. And I also like that there's a little bit of green here, a little bit of orange here. I'm gonna start with just 3 colors in gouache. This is ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and white. So we'll start with that. I think like that's kind of mostly all that I'm seeing in my scene. I think this is gonna be my focal point. Well, I've got a cold. I'm under the weather, and I don't want to have happen what happened before, where I forget or fall asleep. It's like 5:30 or 6, and I feel ready to go to sleep. So, got my sketchbook. I'm gonna quick draw something quick. It's probably not gonna be good. I'm not gonna enjoy it. But that doesn't matter, because what I'm trying to do is build a habit, build basically a way of life, and keep this streak going. So, let's do it. So I just did this quick drawing of this house and this tree casting the shadow on the house and the flag, and kind of a little exercise in perspective. This is just like a 1 to 2 minute thing. It's not that effective, but you know, it gets you thinking about line and shape, tonal values, perspective. So there's value in it. There's kind of like a little fence post here or something, which is kind of nice. So we got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is that my goal is to do art every single day, in 2024. And in fact, I did drop the ball on January 5. I forgot to do art yesterday. Oh. I just forgot because I'm out of the habit. And so I'm gonna pick things up, and I'm gonna go from January 6th to January 6th to try and do a full year that way, because there's no rule that says it has to be January 1 to January 1. And so that's my new goal, updated and refreshed. And I'm lost in some neighborhood. This isn't what I want. I'm stuck behind an electrician's van. So we're kind of creating some depth here by having those trees be a lot grayer in the distance. I need to mix up kind of an orangey color, so a little bit more burnt umber for down in here. So, you know, it was a mixture of success and failure. I feel like just like by getting out today, this is a success. I feel like the fact that, you know, I did do art so many times and I'm like building some momentum with my artwork, I feel like that's a success. I feel like the more that I do this, the more that I want to do it. So I really feel like that also is a success. So there's a lot of positives. I think, you know, looking forward to the next month, I definitely want to, you know, if I want to say like what lessons have I learned, I've learned that it's really important for me to kind of keep my stuff ready to go. You know, I need my brushes to be clean. I need my sketchbook to be ready to go. I need my palette ready to go. I think I probably do need like something in the studio to be working on as well. I think I need to start planning ahead or scheduling at least some of the time, like today. And I really, you know, I try not to add too many goals, but I feel like it would be really good to at least do plein air or sketching or something at least once a week. So I'm going to try to aim for that. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to switch to a smaller flat brush, smaller size, 1/4 inch. I'm going to start to put in, I think, some of these vertical shapes. I'm going to put in some of the shadows of the tree, so I need a really dark. A little bit of all three colors, so a little bit of yellow ochre with the blue and the burnt sienna, but it's mostly ultramarine. A little bit thicker paint here too. One thing that kind of slowed me down a little bit this month, but also inspired me, was, as some of you may or may not know, I'm actually a musician, and I'm trained in classical music, and I have a little bit of a career as a songwriter and a performer. I actually got commissioned to compose a piece for to have the Omaha Symphony play one of my pieces this spring, and so I had to work so much on that. And ordinarily, you know, if I don't have a commission, I'm not spending like hours a day composing or anything, but I was this month. And like a couple days ago, I was like really running into crunch time for this commission, and so I was like, okay, I have to get up super early, and I composed for like 7 hours straight so that I could meet my deadline. And it was really, you know, it was like something out of necessity because I'm like committed to this thing. I want to make sure it happened. But it was also an eye-opening experience because I'm thinking, what if I did that for painting? Or all kinds of things, you know? Like, what if I did that for cleaning my house or fitness or whatever, you know? And it's like sometimes, I really believe in small steps. I really believe in like small habits that make doing and accomplishing the things you want to accomplish easy. But I also think that there can be some serious merit in like kind of putting everything else on the shelf and just focusing for a day or two on like a big task. And so, you know, I was excited but also drained by these big composition sessions where I'm writing music for hours and hours. And I kind of thought like, man, imagine what I could accomplish if I kind of set aside my regular schedule and said like, this day on this month, on this day of the month, I'm gonna paint all day, or for 3 hours, or for 4 hours, or for whatever whatever makes sense, you know. And I think like there's a lot of things like that's not normally what I do. Normally what I do is try to have like a frequency mindset, like, oh, I'm going to do art a little bit every day, and at the end of the year, you know, I'll see some improvements and I'll have made a lot of art and I'll have built that habit. And I think like that frequency mindset is a really good mindset that really does help with productivity. But at the same token, I also think it's good to say, okay, I'm going to set aside some of these things that I normally do every day so that I can carve out time for deep work, to do like the full focus for an extended period of time. And I think like that is the thing that maybe I need to try more of this next month, at least once. Because the number one thing that I'm running up against, the number one thing that's slowing me down, is feeling like I don't have time and energy to get this done, to paint as much as I want, especially with plein air painting, as we're seeing right now. There's drive time involved. I have to have a place in mind. You know, I have to have everything ready to go. And so I think for me, that's just my number one complaint. I don't have enough time. So I really feel like if I can figure that out this next month and do like some serious deep work, maybe it'll be in the studio, I don't know, but come up with a game plan and plan to do like some serious work on something. I think like that also can yield some really cool results and give you momentum. And then maybe you can, you know, start working on it in little bits, a little bit day after day. But I think either to like start a project or to finish a project off, those are weak points that I'm seeing for myself. It's easy for me to do a 15-minute sketch, but it's a lot harder for me to do a hour-long sketch or a 3-hour-long painting session. So earlier this year, I read a book about Elon Musk, and it talked about how this is something that he has a phrase that he uses, that like a maniacal sense of urgency is our operating principle. And a lot of times, I guess with his companies, he will set extremely ambitious goals and extremely ambitious deadlines. And then people, you know, in the company work super hard to try to accomplish those goals. And then they do. And then they get incredible things done. Or even if they miss the deadline, if they miss the goal, they still get incredible things done. And so that kind of had been knocking around in my head, like, what if you just set an insane goal? Something even more insane than painting every day or doing art every day, and set a crazy deadline for yourself and try to go for it. Okay, let's bring in some of the big highlights now. Lots of white, a little bit of yellow ochre. Chunky. Well, that was super refreshing. Just really nice. I wish I didn't have to go and I would keep painting. But I feel like kind of like what we're talking about, like the more that you rack up some wins, the more that it makes you want to keep doing it. I heard Stephen Curry, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, one of my favorite basketball players, said the other night after a game that winning is contagious. And I love that idea. I think that's really what I'm experiencing right now, because I'm like, man, that was incredible and I want to do it again. And so I think that's why hopefully I can launch this into next month, to just build from where I was at. Just kind of a review of where I'm coming from is I've really lost a lot of momentum. I lost a lot of desire to do art. I felt like I was I honestly have been thinking about quitting art, and effectively I would go weeks without painting or doing anything. And you know, when I think about it, it's like that's not what I want to have happen, I don't think. And so I wanted to challenge myself, like, let's get back into it and see if we can turn this thing around. And you know, if I really do it every day for a long time, and at the end of that year or however long, it's like, no, I really don't like this, I don't want to do it, then, you know, I'm definitely not reacting to just like feeling discouraged or reacting to the lack of inertia that I've had. So I want to build inertia and build experience and hopefully kind of get a better traction and a better idea of what I really want to accomplish as an artist and a creative person. So I feel like winning is contagious though, and I feel like you can build momentum, you can build upon yesterday's painting, yesterday's art session, and you can help it drive you forward. I suppose on the other hand, if this had really been a miserable time or not enjoyable at all, or a failure of a painting, maybe I would have a different viewpoint. So, but I like that saying, winning is contagious. And really the whole framework is like, honestly, like if you just try, you can win. Trying is winning in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, this was cool and I feel good about it. And I'm excited to try to build upon this. So we'll see what February has for us. Let me know in the comments how your art practice is going, and if you have any tips for me for what I can do to improve that daily practice, to improve getting better. And I hope that you guys are enjoying the art process for yourselves. And remember that you have a voice that matters. Go be creative. I gotta figure out how to get down this. I'll see you next time. Woo. Oh crap. You know, one more thought that I had is when I think back to the first vision that I had that got me into plein air painting, I was really thinking of people like Claude Monet and Vincent van Gogh. And I just felt like, man, the dream would be if someday I could be standing in a field just observing and enjoying nature and painting that. And I don't know, it just kind of dawned on me as I'm pulling away here that that's literally what I just did. And I don't know why, but there's something so restorative and healing about that. I know that it's not the most beautiful scene or whatever, but there's something about just my local little nature park experiences, but like taking time to be alone in nature, that is so healing and restorative. And I think kind of musing on why am I doing this? Why why do I paint? Why do I sketch? Why do I upload YouTube videos? Like, what's the point of all of this? That's really been bothering me and something that I've been wanting to figure out. But it just dawned on me, like, this is what I wanted to do from the very beginning. I just wanted to go out into a field and observe a beautiful scene of nature by myself and just experience that quietness and paint it however I paint it. Not really focusing on technical mastery per se. I just wanted to go out and have that experience. And I don't know, it just dawned on me, like, that's what I had right now. And it feels great. And so I'm going to keep thinking about that. Is that still my goal? Is that enough for me to keep doing this for a long time, for the rest of my life? Is that still really what I want? Or is there something else? So, but it was just cool. It was just a cool little, I had a little image in my mind of myself doing this, and I just realized, like, that I just did it, you know, and I've been doing it. So I don't know, maybe that means that I do want to just do plein air. Maybe I want to do less urban sketching. Maybe I don't want to paint in the studio. I don't know.